Hey guys, I hope you are all well and keeping safe. I think we're 3 weeks into lockdown now, so I hope you guys are all holding up as well as you can. Now, following on from my video last week where I discussed how some of the policy changes that Amazon had implemented in response to global events had impacted my sales and seen them drop from close to £20,000 per month to pretty much zero, I had a few people messaging me and contacting me on FBA Elite asking if I was planning to continue selling on Amazon FBA. Understandably so, some of you guys spotted that I was kind of frustrated and pretty angry about what had been going on, and were concerned that I might be looking to knock it all on the head, as well as knocking the YouTube channel on the head and FBA Elite as well. So what I want to do in this video is talk you through my mindset. I want to talk you through where I was last week, talk you through how my mindset has evolved this week, and then at the end of the video I will conclude as to whether or not I am continuing with Amazon FBA, and also whether I would recommend it to anyone as well that is considering starting an Amazon FBA business at the moment. Now, before I do, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that watched last week's video. That was the first video that I've released that hit over 1,000 views in the first 24 hours. So that was a huge milestone for me. So thank you to everyone that watched the video. Also, a big thank you to the 100 people that have subscribed in the last week. You know, last week's video, we were just about hit 5,000. And with today's video, we're just about hit 5,100 subscribers. So thank you to everyone that subscribed. If you're new to the channel, please drop a comment below, introduce yourself, and let us know where you are on your Amazon FBA journey. So going back to my mindset from last week's video, and I think there were kind of three overriding emotions that I was feeling at the time. The first one was anger, just seeing your income drop from £20,000 to zero pretty much in the space of a few days due to something that someone else had done. I was quite angry about that, and I'm sure there are many of you at the moment who have experienced shake-ups in your income over the past few weeks, whether that's your job being furloughed or worse, that you've probably experienced in a sense of anger as well about seeing your income drop. However, I think the worse than that was the feeling of just being completely powerless. A large part of my income does come from Amazon, and them having complete control over everything and implementing these policy changes, these unfair policy changes, that there was absolutely zero I could do about. I just felt completely powerless, which probably compounded the feeling of anger as well. And then finally, there was the feeling of frustration, and I think this was a feeling with myself. I was frustrated with myself that I'd put myself in a position where someone or some company had so much control and influence over me. If I think back to when I started Amazon FBA, one of the main drivers for me starting Amazon FBA was trying to create some freedom. Now, at the time, I had a web design business, which I've talked about in many of my previous videos. I've been running for about 10 years. And although it was my own business, I had about 50 clients. So technically, I had about 50 bosses. So by going to Amazon, I was trying to move away from having so many bosses. However, what I did, I effectively swapped 50 bosses for one all-consuming boss that had complete control over that revenue stream. And I think one of the comments on the video from last week summed it up quite well. And we're going to paraphrase this a little bit, but he basically said, a lot of people start an Amazon FBA business to become their own boss, only to realize they become slave to the biggest boss on the planet, and he and his team have complete control over you, and they can copy your product, they can stop your product, and they can desert you at any time. And to be fair, that is pretty much exactly what is happening to all sellers on Amazon FBA at the moment. We are completely powerless to the people at the top who make the changes that they want to make. And as frustrated as I was by that happening, it was also a timely reminder that I had potentially become a bit complacent with Amazon FBA. I had other business ideas that I'd been kicking down the road for too long. I think because I'd be comfortable with what I was earning from Amazon FBA and from my other revenue streams. However, when I first started Amazon FBA, I was all about diversification, and I was always talking about it in my videos, telling people to make sure they have income sources from multiple streams. And I do have income sources from multiple streams. However, I still have a very large percentage of that coming from Amazon FBA. So it has kind of reignited that in me that I need to find additional income streams. And it has been that wake-up call I needed to see the position I kind of got myself into over the past 2 years. So that was last week, but how am I feeling about this week? How am I feeling about the future? Well, at the moment, I'm feeling very, very positive, excited, and driven to push forward with some new opportunities. Many of you are already aware that I've launched a second YouTube channel, and that comes back to the complacency bit that I was just talking about. This is a channel that I've been toying with for quite a few months, but I hadn't actually pulled the trigger. But with what has happened with Amazon, that has kind of encouraged me to take that forward when I should have taken it forward weeks ago. It's a channel dedicated to personal and business financial advice that I want to share with you guys that I've been able to do within the constraints constraints of an Amazon FBA themed channel. So hopefully you guys will find it useful. If you're not already subscribed, please head over to honestmoney.co.uk and subscribe there. The video I released on Monday was covering how to pay yourself as a director of a limited company in 2020-2021. So that is an update from last year's video. So make sure you head over and take a look at that video, because if you're a limited company director, I think you'll find that really, really useful. I've also been looking into a new inventory-less e-commerce model. So for many people, Amazon FBA is quite expensive and it costs too much to get things up and running. So I'm looking at an alternative model, which I'm deep in the research stage, and I'll be covering this on the new channel as well. So if you want to see what I'm doing, make sure you subscribe to honestmoney.co.uk. So overall, my mindset is, despite the short-term financial pain of what is happening with Amazon at the moment, I'm actually in a really good position to push forward. You know, I've got two ideas with the YouTube channel and the inventory-less e-commerce model that I want to pursue. I've got two ideas that I'm super excited about and I want to focus on, and I'm hopeful that I will look back at this time in a year or two as the moment when I had the catalyst for change that I needed, that reminder that I needed to diversify my income even further, and hopefully I'll be a lot less reliant on Amazon than I currently am at the moment. So with all of that in mind, it brings me back to the original question at the start of this video, and will I be continuing with Amazon FBA and FBA Elite? The short answer is yes to both, I will. So with Amazon FBA, I've actually got about £10,000 of inventory leaving China in April, and that will be arriving around the middle of June, where hopefully things will start to be showing signs of returning to normality. Now there's no guarantee that will happen, it could go on for much longer than that. However, I am confident that if I do bring in this stock, that I will be able to sell it through at some point, even though I probably will have to relaunch all of my products due to the fact they've lost so many sales due to, one, the global events, and secondly, the policy changes that Amazon implemented. Also, as mentioned in one of my previous videos, I do believe there will be less sellers, so slightly less competition than there currently is, as I believe some businesses will be wiped out by what has happened. Having said that, I wouldn't recommend a new seller on Amazon FBA to start ordering stock at this time. You know, thankfully with my Amazon FBA business, it's over 18 months old now, so there's quite a bit of cash flow in the business, and I can afford to invest additional money in stock that I can bring in, and if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. However, a lot of people that are starting an Amazon FBA business, the money they invest is very, very important to them, and I wouldn't want them to invest at a time when there is so much uncertainty. So if you're thinking about starting an Amazon FBA business at the moment, make sure you hold off ordering any stock until there's at least some clarity about where things might return to normal. I was also asked whether I would give up on FBA Elite and the YouTube channel as I've started the new Honest Money YouTube channel. The answer to that is no, I will be continuing with both. You know, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I did have a web design business and I have been closing that down recently, and it officially closed at the end of March. So thankfully at the moment I have a lot more time and I have plenty of time to run both channels. So from the FBA Elite YouTube channel perspective and also the FBA Elite forum and mentoring perspective, they will be continuing exactly as they are. I'll be posting new Amazon FBA videos every Friday, and I'll be posting Honest Money personal and business advice videos every Monday. So everything will continue exactly as it is, with the added benefit of more business and personal financial advice being available from me to you guys. So I hope you guys have found this useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you could hit that like button. It does make a big difference, as proved with last week's video. You know, that video has over 100 likes and had over 1,000 views in the first 24 hours, and that is down to you guys watching the video and interacting with it. So if you could take a moment to hit that like button, that would be hugely appreciated. And going back to the video I've just released about how to pay yourself as a director of a limited company, if you want to watch that, I'll pin a comment at the top of the comment section with a link through to the Honest Money YouTube channel.